guys, welcome back. This is Sound Living in Oklahoma. My name is Katie and I serve all of the amazing people all across the Oklahoma City metro area. Today we are going to be talking about 3 home projects that you should feel confident about doing yourself, and also 3 home projects that you should probably think about outsourcing to those professionals. So I want to talk first about the 3 most common mistakes that homeowners make when it comes to tackling DIY projects. Number 1 is not applying for the right building or renovation permits. Number 2 is not budgeting appropriately, or also if you just choose to go the cheap route. Number 3 is working well beyond your skill level and not really realizing when it might be actually a better fit to go with a professional. So we have all seen all of these popular home shows like Fixer Upper, Property Brothers, Flip or Flop. I love all of those shows. And when you're watching those, it's not hard to imagine that some of those industries' most creative interior designers and those flippers, they've all inspired us as homeowners to upfit our homes. Okay, so we want all of the most modern trends, and they're giving us this sense that we can do it ourselves, which is great because a lot of it, or some of it, we can do ourselves. So all of these modern trends like farmhouse styles, painted brick, all those fun tile patterns that you see, all of that is in really high demand right now in the Oklahoma City metro market. And it is in everyone's best interest to leave some of that more advanced stuff to licensed professionals. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what you can do on your own and what you should maybe leave to the professionals. Okay. So number 1, applying for all the right permits. So permitting is enforced for a lot of different reasons, but mostly it is a safety measure. Okay, so in the Oklahoma City metro market, just as a rule of thumb, you're going to need to apply for a building or a renovation permit when you're dealing with things like roofing, any structural additions, those larger, more major plumbing and electrical projects. All of those things you're probably going to need a permit for, okay? So not applying for those correct building permits, it's not only going to be dangerous, but it could impact your insurance coverage down the road. So that's something to be aware of and something to consider when you're planning out these projects. When you are submitting your project to the city, you're going to need several materials, things like any architectural renderings, like blueprints. What are you going to do? They'll need like the timeline. How long is it going to take you? What kind of materials are you going to use, and all those types of things. So just be prepared to do all that. If you are going to be tackling those more major projects. And those more major projects are the ones that you're probably going to want to leave to a licensed professional unless you have some sort of experience doing those things. So number 2, and this, I know it doesn't take a genius to imagine how some of these simple projects can take a reasonable budget and kind of get it out of hand pretty fast. So goes without saying that you want to take the time to work through your budget and make sure that you have a store of cash just in case things go wrong in the long run. So make sure you have a tight budget and just plan out and have a little slush fund just in case things get out of hand. So number 3 is when we talk about HGTV and all of these people on TV, it's like TV magic, right? They make things look super simple, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they are super simple. So most contractors, any contractor will tell you that there are many obstacles and unforeseen things that happen behind the scenes in shows like that you know, we just don't see because we're on the other side of the TV. So working beyond your skill level and things like that, assuming that a project will be easy when really it is more difficult, can be extremely dangerous, and really it can also be very costly. So just be careful, do your research before you get into any major projects, and really consider on those major things contacting a professional. So just to recap, if you're unsure whether or not you need to apply for a permit, you'll probably want to consult with somebody, talk to your experienced realtor and ask them their opinion. Just as a rule of thumb, when you're dealing with things like anything structural, roofing, if you're gonna add on to your house, if you have any major plumbing or electrical related projects, you should always apply for a permit and make sure you're doing that. So on the other hand, there are some projects that you can for sure do on your own. Things like painting, swapping out a light fixture, replacing a faucet. All of those things aren't going to require a permit, and they should be able to be done with limited experience and resources and in a reasonable amount of time. If it's not, then again, you might want to talk about or think about hiring that professional. So if you're tackling any major project or renovation without having those necessary permits, or if you don't have the skill levels, or you just are finding yourself getting out of your budget, you might find yourself in a little bit of trouble. So make sure that if you need to reach out to local professionals, that you do that. If you are looking for somebody that you can trust and you need a recommendation of who might be a good fit for you for different projects around the house, please feel free to reach out to me. I know a lot of people in the area. I'm happy to connect people. It's one thing that I really love the most. So if you need some recommendations, let me know. I'm happy to help. All right, so if you feel like you need some guidance around which home improvement projects that you should DIY, which ones that you should maybe hire someone for, or even if you're wondering, is this DIY project even going to impact the value of my home? Those are some questions that I would love to talk to you about. Feel free to reach out. You can comment down below. You can shoot me a message. I'm happy to answer your questions. No pressure at all. Just the help that you need. So last thing I want to talk about is, or just remind you, is that I do have a community page. It's Sound Living in Oklahoma. If you have not already joined, I would love for you to come over, join the page, join the community. I post a lot about local businesses, different events that are happening, and just really trying to connect people with the community. So that's one thing that I have a real passion for, and so I would be excited for you to join us. If you do have any questions, feel free to comment them down below, shoot me a message. I'm happy to help. I hope this was helpful, and we'll talk to you soon. Catch you next week. Bye.